In the heart of Canaan, a young boy named Joseph, the favored son of Jacob, stands out in his stunning multicolored coat, a symbol of his father's deep affection. This lavish garment stirs jealousy amongst his 11 brothers, who feel overshadowed by Jacob's favoritism. Their resentment grows as Joseph shares his vivid dreams, boasting of a future where he reigns over them. Each dream fuels their animosity as they struggle with their feelings towards their father and each other. The brothers, working as shepherds, often huddle together, casting glances at Joseph, who remains blissfully unaware of the brewing storm. Jacob's love for Joseph is unwavering, but it creates a rift that echoes through their familial bonds. As tensions mount, the brothers conspire against Joseph, driven by jealousy and a desire to assert their own worth. The Canaanite landscape reflects the inner turmoil of their household, with hills and valleys mirroring the emotional highs and lows of their relationships. This period is defined by the complexity of family dynamics, where love and rivalry coexist, setting the stage for Joseph's extraordinary journey ahead, entwined with dreams, betrayal, and ultimately, redemption. Under a starry sky, Joseph shared his vivid dreams with his brothers. The first dream unfolded like a tapestry in the night. He saw bundles of grain in a vast field. Suddenly, his sheaf stood tall while his brothers' sheaves circled around, bowing down to him. As Joseph recounted this dream, a shadow of discomfort emerged on his brothers' faces. Their eyes narrowed, their hearts filled with an unsettling mix of envy and disbelief. How could the youngest, their father's favorite, assume such superiority? As he continued to describe the astonishing vision, the tension thickened. The jealousy simmered beneath the surface, a storm brewing in their hearts. They exchanged glances, each brother feeling the sting of indignation grow deeper. The once close-knit family began to fracture under the weight of Joseph's revelations. This dream, innocent in its nature, became the catalyst for resentment. In the silence that followed, the seeds of rivalry were sown, marking the beginning of an incredible journey filled with strife and transformation. Joseph's first dream had not only foretold his future, but also illuminated the dark corners of sibling rivalry, forever altering their lives. The night glimmered as the brothers wrestled with their emotions. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over the rolling fields. Joseph, filled with hope, set out on a journey to find his brothers, who were tending their flocks. With each step, he envisioned the camaraderie they once shared, unaware of the storm brewing among them. As he walked, the vibrant colors of the wildflowers danced in the gentle breeze, reflecting his youthful optimism. But as he approached, the laughter of his brothers faded into whispers. Hidden behind a cluster of trees, his brothers plotted in shadows, their faces twisted with jealousy. They exchanged furtive glances, anger simmering just below the surface. "Here comes that dreamer," one brother sneered. They spoke of silencing him, of ridding themselves of the one who dared to dream of greatness above them. The tension thickened as they devised a plan, their hearts hardened by envy and suspicion. Joseph, blissfully unaware, continued his search, calling out to them, his voice echoing through the serene landscape. The sun shone brighter, illuminating the path ahead, yet dark clouds loomed in the distance, hinting at the turmoil soon to unfold. What lay ahead was a moment that would change their lives forever. The moon hung high, a silent witness to the treachery unfolding beneath its gaze. Joseph, adorned in his vibrant coat, approached his brothers, unaware of the storm brewing in their hearts. They eyed him with a mix of envy and contempt, their resolve hardening with every step he took. Suddenly, with a swift motion, they seized him. The fabric of his coat was torn, ripping apart not just the cloth but the bond of brotherhood. As they stripped him of his colorful garment, Joseph cried out in desperation, pleading for mercy, his voice echoing in the stillness of the night. But his brothers were unmoved, their faces cold and unyielding. They dragged him to a deep, dark pit, a suffocating abyss where hope seemed to wither. With a harsh shove, they cast him down, his cries fading into the depths. Alone in the darkness, fear gripped him. Moments later, they gathered to eat, their laughter harsh against Joseph's muffled pleas. Then a caravan of Ishmaelite traders appeared on the horizon, stirring a new resolve in the brothers. They exchanged glances, a silent agreement formed. Without a second thought, they sold their own flesh and blood, sealing his fate and forever marking their hearts with the stain of betrayal. The story of Joseph begins with betrayal, as he is sold into slavery by his own brothers. Chained and anxious, he is taken by traders headed for Egypt, a foreign land filled with uncertainty. As he travels, Joseph's mind races with thoughts of his family and the dreams that once filled him with hope. Once in Egypt, he is sold to Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. Despite his circumstances, Joseph exhibits resilience and determination. In Potiphar's house, he works tirelessly, proving himself to be an exceptional servant. His integrity and dedication do not go unnoticed. Potiphar quickly sees the value in Joseph. As days pass, Joseph earns Potiphar's trust, and soon he is promoted to oversee the household. Joseph's efficient management leads to prosperity for Potiphar, and with each passing day, he rises in rank. The young man, once a prisoner of his brother's jealousy, now finds favor in the eyes of his master. The house flourishes under Joseph's care, setting the stage for his extraordinary journey. The transformation from captive to trusted servant marks the beginning of a new chapter in Joseph's life. In the grand halls of Egypt, Potiphar's wife was a woman of beauty and power, yet her heart harbored dark desires. As Joseph, a young Hebrew slave, served in Potiphar's household, she became captivated by his charm and strength. Day after day, she plotted and devised ways to entangle him in her web of seduction. Her whispers echoed through the corridors, tempting him with promises of pleasure and intimacy. Each approach was more brazen, her intentions cloaked in allure, yet Joseph remained steadfast, a testament to his faithfulness to God. He resisted her advances, often retreating from her presence, knowing that yielding would mean betraying not only Potiphar, but also his God. The tension escalated, and one fateful Mickey, as the household lay quiet, she seized her moment. Grabbed by the cloak he wore, she demanded he lay with her, but Joseph, in a panic, fled, leaving the garment behind. In her fury, she concocted a lie, claiming he assaulted her. When Potiphar returned, rage filled him as he heard the false accusations. Without a second thought, Joseph was cast into prison, an innocent man trapped by the deceit of a scorned woman. In the dimly lit prison, Joseph found himself surrounded by despair. Despite his own misfortunes, he chose to be a source of comfort for his fellow inmates. Each night he whispered words of encouragement, lifting spirits that had sunk to the depths of hopelessness. His heart ached for those lost in their own struggles, and he listened intently as they shared their burdens. Among them were the cupbearer and the baker, both troubled by unsettling dreams that haunted their nights. Sensing their distress, Joseph approached them, ready to offer his unique gift. The inmates hesitated, unsure if they could trust a former favorite of Pharaoh. Yet Joseph's earnestness shone through. He interpreted their dreams with remarkable clarity, revealing futures entwined with both hope and despair. To the cupbearer, he gave a message of restoration, while the baker received a more dire prediction. As the cupbearer prepared to return to the palace, Joseph made a heartfelt request. "Remember me when things go well for you." This moment was pivotal. It signified Joseph's enduring hope for freedom and his unwavering belief in the power of connection and empathy, even in the darkest of places. In the story of Joseph, dreams serve as powerful symbols of destiny and divine guidance. Joseph's own dreams of grandeur ignited jealousy in his brothers, leading to his betrayal and enslavement. However, it was in prison that the true significance of dreams unfolded. When he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, he displayed a rare gift, offering hope amidst despair. The cupbearer's dream foretold his restoration, while the baker's dream revealed his impending execution. Joseph's accurate interpretations highlighted not only his prophetic abilities, but also the importance of dreams as messages from God. After the cupbearer's reinstatement, Joseph hoped to be remembered, but he was forgotten, illustrating the fragility of human promises and the unpredictability of fate. This moment emphasizes that dreams can be both blessings and curses, shaping lives in ways one cannot foresee. Joseph's journey from a dreamer to a prisoner, then to a leader, showcases how dreams can chart a course through the darkest times. Ultimately, they demonstrate faith, resilience, and the divine plan at work, reminding us that even in abandonment, hope can still prevail. 2 years later, Pharaoh found himself tossing and turning in the depths of night, plagued by vivid, troubling dreams. In his fevered sleep, he saw 7 fat cows grazing beside the Nile, only to witness them devoured by 7 gaunt, emaciated cows that emerged from the shadows. The horror didn't end there. He dreamt of 7 healthy ears of grain, plump and golden, being swallowed by scorched, shriveled ears that seemed to wither in their presence. Awakening in a cold sweat, Pharaoh felt a sense of urgency and dread grip his heart. These dreams were not mere figments of his imagination. They were ominous portents, demanding interpretation. Disturbed, Pharaoh summoned the wise men and magicians of Egypt, calling upon them to decipher the meanings behind these bizarre visions. Hours turned into days, yet none could unravel the mystery that loomed over the kingdom. As the sun rose, casting light on Pharaoh's troubled visage, it became clear that his realm was at a crucial crossroads. The fate of Egypt hung in the balance, and the quest for understanding these dreams had only just begun. In the court of Pharaoh, a cupbearer suddenly recalled a young Hebrew named Joseph, who had once interpreted his dreams in prison. This moment sparked a hope that would change the course of Egypt's future. Pharaoh, troubled by his own dreams of 7 fat cows devouring 7 lean cows, needed answers. The cupbearer urged him to summon Joseph. With urgency, Joseph was cleaned, dressed in fine robes, and brought before the mighty Pharaoh. Standing in the presence as the ruler, Joseph acknowledged his humble beginnings and gave credit to God for his gift of interpretation. This was a pivotal moment. Pharaoh shared his dreams, and Joseph, relying on divine wisdom, explained the meaning. Egypt would experience 7 years of abundant manna, followed by 7 years of severe famine. Joseph advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise leader to store surplus grain during the years of plenty to prepare for the coming crisis. His wisdom and faith not only saved Egypt, but also elevated him from prisoner to powerful leader, demonstrating the profound impact of remembering the forgotten and the power of faith in adversity. In a remarkable turn of events, Joseph, once a prisoner, is appointed as the second in command of Egypt. Pharaoh, impressed by Joseph's divine ability to interpret dreams, entrusts him with a monumental task: to prepare Egypt for an impending famine. During the years of plenty, Joseph devises a strategic plan to store vast amounts of grain. He organizes a nationwide collection effort, ensuring that the country's granaries are filled to the brim with surplus food. This foresight not only secures Egypt's future, but also positions the nation as a beacon of stability amidst looming disaster. As the famine strikes, surrounding regions are devastated, and people suffer from hunger. Yet Egypt thrives, its granaries overflowing thanks to Joseph's meticulous planning. His leadership transforms the nation. While others scramble for resources, Egypt becomes a source of relief for the afflicted. As Joseph oversees the distribution of grain, he embodies resilience and wisdom, solidifying his role as a savior for his people. This strategic foresight showcases not just his leadership skills, but also his deep understanding of the cycles of abundance and scarcity. In a time of great famine, Jacob's sons journey to Egypt, seeking food to save their family. Little do they know that they are about to fulfill a prophecy steeped in their past. As they arrive at the bustling marketplace, they encounter Joseph, the one they sold into slavery years ago, now a powerful ruler. Disguised, Joseph watches as his brothers approach, desperation etched on their faces. They bow before him, an act that echoes the dream he had as a young man, where his brothers' sheaves of grain bowed down to his. The sight stirs a whirlwind of emotions within Joseph. Memories flood back, and he feels a mix of love and betrayal. As the brothers plead for help, Joseph recognizes them but chooses to keep his identity hidden. He engages them in conversation, testing their character and their remorse over their past actions. They speak of their father, Jacob, and the brother they left behind, Benjamin. Each interaction reveals their growth and sorrow, deepening the complexity of their reunion. The dramatic irony thickens as they remain oblivious to the truth standing before them, creating an unforgettable moment where dreams and reality intertwine. The atmosphere in the grain store was thick with tension as Joseph, now a powerful figure in Egypt, faced his brothers who had come to buy provisions during the famine. Their arrival, a moment of dread for Joseph, ignited a whirlwind of emotions. With a steely gaze, he accused them of being spies, intent on discovering the weaknesses of the land. The brothers were taken aback, their minds racing as guilt washed over them. Memories of their betrayal surfaced, haunting them with regret for selling Joseph into slavery years ago. They protested, swearing they were honest men, but Joseph's piercing scrutiny held them captive. To validate their claims, he demanded they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, to him, a condition that struck fear into their hearts. Joseph ordered Simeon to be imprisoned as a guarantee of their return, a calculated move that tightened the noose of their shared past. Alone in their despair, the brothers whispered among themselves, recognizing that their actions had come full circle. The weight of their guilt pressed heavily, and they feared retribution, not knowing that the brother they had wronged stood before them, cloaked in authority and pain. As the brothers returned to Egypt with Benjamin, Joseph's heart raced with conflicting emotions. Here stood the youngest brother, the one he had longed to see, yet the memories of betrayal still haunted him. Joseph concealed his true identity, but inside he struggled with joy and pain. He remembered the days of their childhood, the laughter, the dreams, and the day those dreams shattered. As Benjamin approached, Joseph felt a surge of love and protectiveness. However, he also felt guilt and anger towards his brothers for their past actions. The moment was bittersweet. He wanted to embrace Benjamin, but had to maintain his facade. The tension escalated when Joseph orchestrated a test. He discreetly had his silver cup hidden in Benjamin's sack, or destined in them, setting the stage for confrontation. The brothers were unaware of the impending accusation that would thrust them into chaos. When the cup was discovered, panic ensued. Joseph demanded to know who had stolen it, and as Benjamin was accused, Joseph's heart sank. Torn between his loyalty to his brother and the need to confront his past, Joseph faced an emotional tempest. This reunion would change everything. In a moment thick with tension, Judah steps forward, his heart pounding, eyes locked with the stern man before him. The weight of his brother's fate hangs in the air, and he knows what he must do. "My lord," he implores, voice quaking with emotion, "let me take the blame. Take me instead of Benjamin." The words are a desperate plea, a testament to his love for his youngest brother. Judah recalls their father's grief, the weight of their family's history pressing down upon him. He recounts how Benjamin is all that remains of Rachel, their mother, and how losing him would shatter their father's heart. Judah's voice rises, passion fueling his words. He offers himself as a substitute, challenging the powerful man to see the depth of his commitment. Every brother watches, breath bated, as this act of bravery unfolds. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. The man before them, Joseph, can no longer contain himself. Tears spill from his eyes as he reveals his true identity, the brother they thought lost to them. Shock ripples through the group, followed by glee and disbelief. Embraces ensue, a flood of emotions erupting as they realize they are reunited, their bond stronger than ever. In a dramatic twist of fate, Joseph stands before his brothers, the very ones who sold him into slavery years ago. Instead of seeking revenge, Joseph's heart swells with compassion. He embraces each brother warmly, tears streaming down his face, as he declares that their actions were part of a greater plan orchestrated by God. Joseph understands now that his journey through hardship was not in vain. It was essential for the survival of his family during the famine. His brothers, taken aback by his kindness, struggled to comprehend the depth of his forgiveness. They had expected wrath, but instead, they find grace. Through heartfelt words, Joseph reassures them, "Do not be afraid. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." This powerful moment marks a turning point in their relationship, healing wounds that had festered for years. Pharaoh, witnessing this reunion, invites Joseph's family to settle in Egypt, providing them with a new beginning. As Joseph is finally reunited with his father Jacob, the joy of forgiveness envelops their family, affirming that love can triumph over betrayal and hope can flourish even in the darkest times. Joseph's journey is a compelling narrative of betrayal, resilience, and divine providence. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, Joseph found himself in Egypt, a land far from home. Despite the hardships he faced, including wrongful imprisonment, he remained steadfast in his faith. His ability to interpret dreams led him to rise in power, ultimately becoming the second in command of Pharaoh. This pivotal role enabled him to save countless lives during a devastating famine, including those of his own family. When his brothers unknowingly sought help from him, the tension of betrayal loomed large, yet Joseph chose forgiveness over vengeance. He revealed his identity, not in anger but with love, showing that he had transcended the pain of his past. The climax of this story unfolds when Jacob, their father, is brought to Egypt. In a beautiful moment of reconciliation, Jacob blesses Joseph's sons, affirming their place in the lineage of promise. This act symbolizes the flourishing family of Israel in Egypt, rich in blessings and hope. Joseph's life teaches us about the transformative power of forgiveness and the assurance that God's plans, even through adversity, lead us to salvation. Reflect on your own journey and embrace the grace of forgiveness.